Gentlemen, listen closely, because today I am about to open a doorway into a world that most men only scratch the surface of. We are going to talk about women, not just who they are, but what makes them extraordinary, mysterious, powerful, and yes, irresistibly sexy. I want you to lean in, because what I am about to share with you are not the same tired cliches you've heard 1,000 times. These are mind-blowing facts about women, the kind that once you know them, you'll never look at a woman the same way again. They are facts that will empower you to understand her, connect with her, excite her, and appreciate her in ways you never thought possible. And when a man truly understands a woman at this level, everything about his love life, his confidence, and his masculine energy changes forever. Now let's start with something powerful. Every man thinks he knows how women work, but most only scratch the surface. You see, when a woman is aroused, it is not only her body that responds, it is her mind, her heart, her very soul that begins to awaken. A woman's arousal is not linear, it is like a symphony. Her body becomes more sensitive, her skin more electric, her heart more open. What men don't realize is that when you notice subtle changes, like the way her breath quickens, the way her voice softens, or how her pupils expand, you are witnessing the raw truth of female desire. These are facts that are biological, psychological, and emotional all at once. And if you, as a man, learn to observe these things, you are no longer just touching her body, you are touching her being. Here's another fact that will blow your mind. Women can experience arousal in ways that go beyond the physical. For a man, arousal is often visual or immediate. But for a woman, her brain is her largest sex organ. That means the words you say, the energy you carry, the confidence you exude, and the way you touch her heart before you touch her skin. All of these things are the keys to her pleasure. Imagine whispering something that unlocks her imagination, creating an entire world of intimacy in her mind before a single kiss is shared. That is where true attraction begins. And this is why confidence, intelligence, and presence are so magnetic to her. They reach into that hidden part of her that craves more than physical touch. Let's rehook right here, because I need you to hear this. Most men fail not because they are unattractive, but because they do not understand the language of women. A woman's body communicates through subtle signals, and her emotions are layered like poetry. Did you know that a woman's body has over 8,000 nerve endings in her clitoris alone, twice as many as a man's penis? Yet her pleasure is not limited to that single point. Her entire body is capable of responding to touch, the back of her neck, the inside of her wrist, the arch of her foot, the curve of her lower back. These are gateways into her pleasure, and when you discover them, you realize that intimacy with a woman is not about rushing to an end, it's about awakening a journey. Here's where it gets even sexier. Women are designed to feel deeply, and that includes their capacity for multiple orgasms. While many men need recovery time after release, women can experience wave after wave of pleasure if their arousal is nurtured, respected, and intensified with patience. This fact alone should change how you approach intimacy. Imagine the power you hold as a man when you realize you can give her not just one climax, but an entire symphony of sensations that leave her breathless. She will not only desire you physically, but she will crave your presence emotionally, because you become the man who understands her in a way so few do. But beyond the sexual, let's talk about another truth. Women are far more intuitive than men give them credit for. Studies show that women's ability to read micro expressions and body language is significantly higher than men's. That means she often knows what you are feeling before you even say it. She can sense dishonesty, hesitation, confidence, or fear just by observing you. And here's the mind-blowing part. when she feels your authenticity, when she feels your masculine energy steady and true, she naturally opens up to you. Because deep down, women crave security, not just financially or physically, but emotionally. A woman wants to feel safe in your energy, and when she does, she allows herself to become fully vulnerable with you. Now, think about this. Women are biologically wired for connection. Their bodies release oxytocin, the bonding hormone, far more intensely than men do during intimacy. That means every time she kisses you deeply, every time she cuddles you after making love, every time she lets herself melt into your arms, she is building an invisible thread of attachment. For her, intimacy is not just physical pleasure. It is emotional imprinting. This is why a woman never forgets a man who truly makes her feel alive. You may move on, but the way you touched her soul stays with her forever. And yet, here's a surprising fact. Women's cycles affect everything about how they experience desire. During ovulation, her body naturally produces more estrogen and testosterone, making her more sexually responsive and more drawn to men who display strength and confidence. At other times, she may be more nurturing, more affectionate, more emotional. If you learn to recognize these shifts, you stop seeing her mood swings as confusion, and you start seeing them as the rhythm of her biology. Imagine what it does to your relationship when you respect her cycle instead of fighting it. You align yourself with her natural energy, and suddenly everything flows more smoothly. Gentlemen, let me pull you back in with another hook, because this is critical. Women are not complicated. They are layered. Every layer of her being is a gateway into deeper intimacy. Her laughter is a layer. Her fears are a layer. Her fantasies are a layer. And her body is a temple of hidden responses that only the attentive man will ever discover. The fact is, women are not withholding, they are waiting. Waiting for the man who is patient enough to explore, confident enough to lead, and generous enough to give without expecting. That man becomes unforgettable. And here's where most men get it wrong. They think women only want a man with money, looks, or status. Yes, those things can attract attention, but they are not what makes her stay. What keeps a woman hooked is how you make her feel. Do you make her feel desired beyond her beauty? Do you make her feel respected in her vulnerability? Do you ignite her imagination, or do you reduce intimacy to a routine? When you realize that a woman's deepest need is to be seen fully and truly, you unlock a power greater than any superficial charm. Because when a woman feels seen, she will give herself to you completely. Let me give you another mind-blowing fact. Women are far stronger than they are often given credit for. Biologically, they endure more pain. Childbirth, menstruation, hormonal shifts. These are battles fought silently every single month. And yet, in the middle of all of this, women carry careers, families, dreams, and love. When you begin to see a woman not just as a lover, but as a warrior in her own right, your respect for her multiplies. And respect, gentlemen, is the foundation of lasting attraction. Desire without respect fades, but desire with respect becomes devotion. As we move deeper into this journey, remember this: women are not mysteries to be solved, but masterpieces to be appreciated. Each fact I share with you is a brushstroke on the canvas of who she is. And when you begin to see the full painting, you will realize that the real power of a woman is not just in her curves or her kisses, but in her capacity to transform you as a man. Because when a woman trusts you, when she desires you, when she loves you, she elevates everything about your life. She pushes you to be stronger, wiser, more ambitious. She is not just your partner, she is your mirror, your muse, your secret weapon. That, gentlemen, is the beginning of understanding women. And this is only part one. In part two, we will dive even deeper into her fantasies, her psychology, her secret triggers of desire, and the ways you can unlock her wildest pleasures while also winning her deepest devotion. Stay with me, because what comes next will not only change the way you see women, it will change the way you see yourself as a man. Gentlemen, now that you've been drawn into the first part of this journey, it's time to go even deeper, because while we've uncovered the truths about her body, her intuition, and her hidden layers, there is still so much more that men deserve to know. This is the second part of your awakening, and I want you to lean in even closer, because what comes next is not just information, it's transformation. These are the kinds of truths that can make you unforgettable to a woman, the kind of man who doesn't just share her bed, but shares her soul. And if you've ever wanted to be the man she thinks about long after the night is over, the man she craves again and again, then you need to stay with me. Let's begin with her fantasies, because here lies one of the most misunderstood parts of a woman's being. Men assume women don't fantasize as vividly as they do, but the truth is women's imaginations are often even wilder. Her fantasies are not always about physical acts. They're about emotions, about power, about surrender, about intensity. She might imagine being desired so strongly that you can't hold back, or being cherished so deeply that every kiss feels like worship. When you begin to realize that her arousal is as much in her mind as in her body, you unlock a new level of intimacy. Whispering into her ear, painting vivid pictures with your words, letting her imagination run free. These are the ways you reach places in her that your hands alone cannot touch. Here's another mind-blowing truth. Women are masters of anticipation. Desire for her is not about instant gratification. It's about build-up, suspense, tension. The longer you make her wait, the more explosive the release. Every time your hand hovers just before touching her skin, every time your lips pause just inches from hers, every time you draw out the moment, you are amplifying her desire. She loves when you know how to tease her, because it proves you have control, and that control makes her trust you enough to let go completely. Remember this, a woman does not crave speed, she craves intensity. And intensity comes from patience. But there's something even more powerful. Women are deeply emotional beings, and their arousal is often linked to how valued they feel. When she feels adored, when she feels like she is the only woman in the room, her body responds in ways that will astonish you. Compliment her not just on her looks, but on the way she thinks, the way she moves, the way she makes you feel. When she feels desired for who she is, her passion ignites like fire. And here's the fact most men miss. When a woman feels seen and loved deeply, she doesn't hold back. She becomes wild, uninhibited, and fully free in your arms. That transformation happens only when she knows you admire her beyond the surface. Let me rehook you right here. Women are not just about softness. They are also about strength. A woman who is free in her sexuality is not weak. She is powerful. And when you meet her in that power, you realize she doesn't need you to dominate her. She needs you to match her energy, to rise to her intensity. That is when sparks fly, when two souls collide in passion so raw that it feels unstoppable. If you've ever wondered why some men make women lose control, it's because those men understood this simple truth. You don't tame her, you unleash her. And here's where it gets fascinating. A woman's body is constantly shifting, adapting, responding. Did you know that her sense of smell sharpens during ovulation? And she becomes more attracted to certain pheromones. Did you know that her skin becomes more sensitive during different phases of her cycle? These changes mean that the way she experiences touch today may not be the same as tomorrow. This is why paying attention is your greatest weapon. Every sigh, every moan, every arch of her back is her way of teaching you what she wants. If you are present, you'll never need to guess. You'll know. Let's go even deeper. Women crave emotional dominance, not control in a harsh way, but leadership that makes her feel safe enough to let go. When you guide her gently, when you take initiative with confidence, when you make decisions that show you can lead, she relaxes into her femininity. She doesn't want to fight for control in every moment. She wants to surrender to a man she trusts. That surrender is not weakness. It is her ultimate gift. And when you honor it, you unlock a kind of intimacy that leaves her addicted to your presence. Here's a fact many men overlook: women's arousal can last far longer than men imagine. While a man may peak quickly, a woman's body can stay in heightened sensitivity for hours. That means the more effort you put into building her pleasure, the more she rewards you with passion that doesn't fade. She remembers the man who lingered, the man who didn't rush, the man who gave her more than she expected. Be that man, and she will never forget you. Now let me remind you of this truth. Women are deeply loyal when they are truly loved. She may test you, she may challenge you, she may push your patience, but it is only because she wants to know if you are strong enough to handle her storms. When she sees that you don't break, when you remain steady, when you continue to value her even in her fire, she bonds with you in a way that is unshakable. That bond is not built on flowers or gifts. It's built on your energy, your consistency, your unwavering presence. Gentlemen, this is where it all comes together. Women are not puzzles, they are revelations. Each kiss, each glance, each whisper is a piece of a larger truth. And when you put it all together, you realize that women are not difficult to understand. They simply require attention, respect, patience, and desire. And when you give those, they give you everything in return. They give you their heart, their passion, their loyalty, and their soul. So let this be your call to action. Stop settling for shallow connections. Stop rushing through intimacy. Stop assuming you know what she wants without listening to her body, her words, and her heart. Instead, become the man who is curious, who is attentive, who is fearless enough to explore every layer of her being. Become the man who doesn't just touch her body, but touches her spirit. Because when you do, you will discover that the most mind-blowing fact about women is this: when she trusts you enough to give you all of her, she will elevate you to heights you never imagined. She will inspire you, empower you, and love you in a way that feels like magic. And isn't that what every man truly wants? To be unforgettable in the eyes of the woman he desires. To be the man she dreams about, the man she whispers about, the man who makes her feel alive. That is the reward waiting for you if you take these truths to heart. So step into your strength, lean into your presence, and never forget: the more you understand a woman, the more powerful, passionate, and magnetic you become. Gentlemen, this has been your awakening. Now go and be that man.